My name is Tracy Brown, and I'm so delighted to spend the last Sunday of the year right here in this sanctuary of CSL Dallas, the center of the universe, and the center of Facebook Live and YouTube and the internet. So, hey, everybody. And I see some of you waving at me with your hearts, because if you're in the room, you have a heart reminding us that today's theme is boundless love. Boundless love. We are all about boundless love. And what Ernest Holmes said about love and about science of mind is that science of mind as a philosophy and as a practice is about proclaiming the spiritual nature of humankind. And the way that we remove the human nature of fear is by introducing love. So, science of mind proclaims the spiritual nature of humankind. It removes fear by introducing love. So, anytime that you are experiencing fear, which comes in many forms, jealousy, anger, irritation, you name it, the way to counteract that or to remove it is to replace it with love. That infinite intelligence kind of love, that love that is the love of the Creator, creating life and breathing life into it and allowing it to have its own experience. So when we say love, and as I say love throughout this talk and our conversation this morning, please, you may have to manage your brain, because your human brain has been so programmed to hear the word love and equate it with romance. And we may do some of that in a couple of months around Valentine's Day. But right now, today, we're closing out the year talking about this boundless love, the love that is the nature of love, that is Spirit's love, that has no boundaries, that is so big it encompasses all of life. Now, we didn't get here by accident. I know some of you, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but I know some of you are like, how could it be the last Sunday in the year? I got so much to do. Like, what happened? I'm not in control of my life. All these things are going on, and I still have all these things to do in the next 6 days, and it just seemed like it just happened. Like, okay, sometimes life does feel like it is happening to us, not through us. But we did not get here to this idea, this concept, this focus today on boundless love by accident. Even if we didn't think about it 6 months ago or 11 months ago, all this month we have been really clear in our focus on the 4 gifts that weave through and we are reminded about through all of the holidays and the holy days of this winter holiday season. And when we think about those 4 gifts, we recognize that whether we are talking about Thanksgiving at the end of November, or the season of Advent, or Bodhi Day in the beginning in early December, Hanukkah this year during the month of December, the winter solstice, or Lady of Guadalupe celebrations, or Kwanzaa this week, New Year's Eve in a few days, and the beginning of the new year. No matter which one we're talking about, you can notice there are some commonalities, and those are the 4 gifts that we focused on this month. And if you haven't been with us, the videos are on YouTube. Go check them out. Reverend Karen and Dr. Petra have introduced each one of these gifts, joy and peace and light, and now today love, in a very unique way. But throughout the month, in addition to the holidays, we have had an exceptional guide to remind us of these gifts. And so I could not end the month without having a shout out to our unofficial guide of joy, peace, light, and love. And her name is Aria. So as we have gone through this month, we didn't get to boundless love by accident. We have talked about joy, and we have talked about peace, and we have gone a little bit deep on what is the light and how can we represent it. And every step along the way, we have had the reminders from this jewel of a child, Aria, reminding us to return to the joy, the peace, the light, and the love, no matter what is going on. And so, no mistake that today as well, she provides some grounding for us as we explore the concept of boundless love. Boundless. What does it mean? In the room, and if you're on Facebook, in the chat, what's your definition of boundless? What's a synonym or another word that we could use instead of boundless? So drop it into the chat if you are in virtual land. And in the room, let me hear 3 or 4 words. What other words could we use to replace boundless? Unlimited, infinite, exponential. Ooh, we got some big words. We got SAT test words in the room. And any others? Unlimited and? No, I heard was unconditional, endless. Yeah. Boundless. It's a word. It's actually kind of fun to say. Say it out loud with me. Boundless. It has that feeling to it. And I'm all about not just the words, but how they feel and how they, the shape of the mouth and the energy that comes through with the word. Boundless love. But if you go to the dictionary, it will tell you that boundless also could be described as immense, infinite, vast, limitless. Some of the words that you said: endless, eternal, everlasting, immeasurable, inexhaustible, and unconfined. Unconfined. There is no way for you to confine a boundless love. There's no way for you to block out a boundless love. There is no way for you to deny the power of a boundless love. And so, what does that look like? How does it feel? Can you even wrap your brain around this idea of boundless? I can't. I start thinking about boundless love, and I go, well, I know what love is. I know what boundless is. And I put them together and intellectually, oh yeah, I could teach a class on boundless love. I could tell you all the things. I could give you some really brilliant quotes, and I will. However, yesterday, so leading up to Christmas and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I have a personal practice, and I have titled it Rebirthing the Christ Consciousness. Rebirthing the Christ consciousness, because I don't actually celebrate Christmas and the gift giving and the lighting of the trees and the decoration and all the cultural things that go with Christmas as we know it, the exchanging gifts. I don't do any of that. But when I was eliminating all of that from my life a long time ago, 1974, I recognized that the true message for me, the deepest message of quote unquote Christmas, was the recognition of birthing Christ. And Jesus was not Christ. That is not his name. That was not his name. But he is recognized as the Christ, as an example of living Christ consciousness. So as I was preparing and leading up to rebirthing Christ consciousness, I actually had this opportunity to think about how, in the examples that we have from the stories about Jesus, how did he live and become to be the representative of Christ consciousness? And so much of it was that he walked and talked boundless love. He understood that the love of the infinite, of the Creator was infinite, and that this was the love that had no boundary. And because he not only believed it, he incorporated it into the way he thought about everything and the way he behaved. In this morning's Science of Mind class, someone asked that question: why do we have separation? And, and it seems that Jesus did not. I will say this too, we have selected stories of the life of Jesus. So, and the myth that has been built around that. And so it is easy for us to say, oh, he must have been that way 365 days of the year, 24 hours a day. And it's important for us to believe that and think that way, because we have now established his behavior as a model for our own. So I don't have any problem with that, but I am a little realistic about it sometimes. And so it's like, okay, I'm behaving this particular way, and maybe it's not a representation of the way that Jesus lived his life. And then I think, or maybe it is. Maybe today is the day that won't be in the history book or the spiritual guidebook that gets written as Tracy Brown as the example of Christ consciousness. They'll just leave out September 13th, 2021, right? But they'll write about what she did or said on September 25th, 2021, because it was a good example. So I'm not trying to bust your bubble about Jesus or anything like that. I just want us to be real with it and not beat ourselves up about being in our humanness. So leading up to rebirthing the Christ consciousness, I actually was like, Tracy, on Sunday, you're going to talk about boundless love. Do you live it? When do you live it? How do you live it? When do you not live it? And what I realized was every example I came up with where I was not an example of living boundless love, it wasn't because I was a bad person. It was because for a moment, I allowed my humanity to express more than my divinity. And all of us do that. But here's what that calls us to do. When I notice it, which is my job to do, I say, there are no mistakes in God. I have been made in the spiritual image, the spiritual likeness of that which created me, and I have been given free will. So beginning right now, I can take one step forward and step back into alignment with the boundless love that is my true essential nature. I can give it and I can receive it because it is already within me. So boundless love is not this goal that we set, that we try to get to or we aspire to, but we don't believe we can ever be there. Boundless love is something we aspire to, but it's not out there. It is right here. It is within, and it is always available at a moment's choice to be in alignment with it, to be it. Love has no awareness of merit or demerit. So if I am living from a place of boundless love, I don't have to punish myself because for a moment, a day, a week, I forgot about the nature of boundless love within me. I also don't get extra bonus points because I'm doing it and living in my divine nature. I don't get a little sticker to put on my desk or on my refrigerator. Love has no awareness of merit or demerit. It has no scale, up or down, big or small, good or bad. Love, boundless love, loves. This is its nature. If that is the nature of love, if that is the nature of God, it is my true essential nature as well, for there is no difference, except when I believe that there is. So this quote from Howard Thurman is such a good reminder that love has no awareness of merit or demerit. It has no scale. Love just loves. This is its nature. This is your nature. This is your nature. This is my nature. It is the nature of all creation. Ernest Holmes reminds us that when the sunshine of love and confidence fills your whole being, the darkness of the negatives has to disappear. It must disappear. It's not if it wants to. It doesn't take a vacation. It doesn't say, well, today I'll disappear, but tomorrow, nah, I'm not going anywhere. I don't want to show up as love, right? When that sunshine, when love truly permeates who you are, the negatives have to disappear. So, I hope you find this funny as I do. But if you don't, I'm still going to laugh at myself and how this quote has shown up for me this week. So in October, I was very surprised. There was a little problem with my car. If you're in the room, or even if you're online, like raise your hand if you've ever had a surprise problem with your car where it wasn't running or there was some repair or even a car accident or something. But in this case, there was no accident. Nobody else was involved. And my car was driving really strangely, and I thought it was going to stop any moment. And I forgot about Boundless Love. I admit it. Kind of. I did. I got frustrated, and it was out of fear. Like, what am I going to do? And I have all these things, and I need to get through this place, and I don't know what's wrong with it. It's never done this before, and how much is it going to cost to get it fixed? And I call my trusted mechanic, who I love, who I would refer anyone to, and the phone answered. Thanks for calling. We're on vacation. Our offices, the shop will be closed and it will open again, whatever the next Monday was. And this was a Monday. Like, ooh, I don't even know if I'm going to get home. I was thinking I would drive it right there and leave it with them. So now all of this is going on. I just kind of forgot about Boundless Love. But after about 10 minutes of panic and figuring out what should I do, I said, you know what? The universe has an answer. Now, number one, this was an answer for me. This was a reminder for me that the sunshine of love and confidence fills my whole being. Because it only took 10 or 15 minutes for me to return to, okay, I'm scared. Okay, that's what's going on. But I didn't spiral down the way I might have 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 10 months ago. You know, that day was a really good day. I was living in the consciousness of boundless love. And so I did take it to the dealership, it was the first time my car has been to the dealership in 4 years. And as it turned out, by the time I left it, I realized that was not a mistake, because what was wrong with it was related to a valve that was related to the engine, and it really needed to be repaired by a dealer so that it would be certified or whatever. And the dealer would be able to get the parts if they didn't have them in stock. And in this case, the dealership had them in stock. And so I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. Until the service advisor said, well, I need your permission to actually start the work. And he totaled up all the expenses, and I went, right? I was really like, what? It's going to cost how much? Are you kidding me? And it was almost $2,000, and I wasn't planning to spend $2,000 on my car that month or any month. There's no month that I am planning to spend $2,000 on my car. And so, my mind went a little crazy, but then I, again, within 10 or 15 minutes was like, but Tracy, aren't you glad that you have access to $2,000? Because there have been years and there have been months where I didn't have access to $2,000 to pay an unexpected car repair. So I got reminded back then that there was this boundless love that was guiding my life, living in my life, and living through my life every time I turned away from fear and turned to this truth. That love, the love of God, the infinite nature of love, makes negatives disappear. It is a law. It's not magic. It's not something Tracy does. Tracy turns to and steps into a suit called Boundless Love, and the negatives have to disappear the same way that when Tracy walks into a room where it is dark and Tracy flips the light switch on the wall, the light replaces the dark. The dark disappears. It doesn't fight. It doesn't say, I know you turned on that switch, but I am not going away. I'm dark, and I want to be dark, and I don't care about the electricity. No, that doesn't happen. So what happened this week that really cemented this for me? This past week, on Tuesday, I get my mail. I pick up my mail, and I notice there's an envelope from Chevrolet. I drive a Chevy Cruze. It looks like it's something kind of official, but it also, in my mind, because I'm so programmed like all of you are, in my mind, my brain said, look at them. They're trying to sell you something, and they made it look like it was an official letter so you would open it. And I almost didn't open it, and something made me open it. And I open it, and immediately I can see it's not a sales thing, and they're not, trying to get me to buy something because of how it starts. And I'm reading, and it says, we have come to know that there is this possible defect that is happening in Chevy Cruzes from this year, which is the year that my car is. And here is your VIN, your identification number. And if you have had a problem with the turbo valve related to your engine, we will reimburse you. I was like, what? I can get my $2,000 back? Come on, right? We can have some church up in here today, right? But when I read this quote from Ernest Holmes, the darkness of the negatives has to disappear, I realized it's in the little things, like in the minutes as I went through that day and, waited 3 days for my car to be repaired and picked it up and returning to this nature, this boundless nature of love over and over and over again. And now, 2.5 months later, I get even more confirmation. Because after I picked up my car, I never went back to that pouting, complaining that this had happened, or I'd been without my car. I never went back there. And I am not that special. It is the result of constant practice. Every one of you in this room and on social media or watching the recording of this talk, you too have this exact same power. And all month long, that's really mostly what we've been talking about, that the 4 gifts of this season, the joy and the peace and the light and now the love, they are gifts that are embedded within each and every one of us if we would just accept them and return to them over and over and over again. In the Bible, it reminds us or instructs us to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. I heard that scripture over and over from the book of Matthew. And I memorized it, as we do as children, and I liked it. I was like, oh, love the Lord your God. It's kind of like the scripture that says pray unceasingly, right? You know it, and you're like, yeah, that sounds good, but it's not easy to do. And it's also not all that easy sometimes to understand. Like with all my heart, well, what would loving spirit or spirit as me, what would that look like if I loved God and loved myself and loved my neighbor with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind? Like physically, what would that look like? We don't often take it to that level. So I looked at another translation of the Bible, and I looked at actually 7 or 8 translations of the Bible for this verse to see if it would give me another way to frame it in the 21st century that might really be meaningful for me. And so I went to the First Nations version. It's an indigenous translation of the Bible in the context of many of the Native American Indian tribes. And the very same verse translates like this: "You must love the Great Spirit from deep within, with the strength of your arms, the thoughts of your mind, and the courage of your heart." And that just felt so powerful to me, to be reminded that it is what I do, the strength of my arms. It is my heart, not just the romantic feelings of it, but the courage to emotionally engage, and the repetitive dominant thoughts of my mind over and over. That is how I must love infinite intelligence. That is how I must love life. That is how I must love myself, because myself is a physical representation of the infinite nature of God, or the Great Spirit. So as we move this week into living boundless love, as we move this week into celebrating Kwanzaa, or honoring today Boxing Day, or preparing to be with friends and family on New Year's Eve, I encourage you to think about boundless love and how it is in your life. Now, you have a heart, and can you hold your heart up? I am looking for a blue heart. If you have a blue heart, would you stand up? There are only 2 people in the room with blue hearts. I have a gift for you. And Ryan, on Facebook, if you would count down to the 7th person who commented or said hello or joined us today, and capture their name, then I would also give that person the same gift. So we need to be able to contact them. You're like, I'm standing, what is my gift? So you made a decision to be here today. All of you did. And I'm so grateful for that, whether it's online or in person. This month we've been talking about the 4 gifts. And the 5th gift in the study guide is incarnation, actually incarnating these 4 gifts in our lives. And so I would like to gift each of you with a spiritual coaching session that is designed to help you integrate the 4 gifts of joy, peace, light, and love in your life, because I believe that when we notice and then combine our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual priorities, that is the way that we live these gifts. So don't leave without getting my contact information, and we'll do a session with you in the next 30 days. So give them some recognition. Yes, yes, yes. You can sit down. So let's take this boundless love into our hearts, into our lives. Please join me in prayer. Boundless love. The love of the divine. It has no bounds. It is immense. It is vast. It is eternal. It is everywhere present, and it is in everything it creates, including my life, your life, the life of all humanity. In fact, the life of all creation in its own way. This boundless love. This boundless love I claim and declare right here and right now is Spirit's highest vision seeking to express in each one of us. I know right here and right now that everyone within the sound of my voice has been created from boundless love, and in this moment begins to choose to live from that boundless love that is deep within. It is already implanted in every cell of the body. Take a breath. And know that with this breath, you are empowered to replace fear, anger, irritation, confusion, doubt, drama. Replace it all with the boundless love that is the nature, the true essential nature of your very being. All of us can do this. This is the truth. This is the way. And in all of these holy days and holidays of this winter season, we are simply reminded that it is joy, it is love, it is peace, and it is the light, not just from the candles we ignite, but the light of the flame that is already within us. I'm so grateful that each one of us can choose to be this joy, this peace, this light, and this love. I'm so grateful for knowing that that choice is made right here and right now. I'm so grateful for knowing that whatever happened yesterday is over. Today is a new day. And in a few days, we enter and invite and welcome a new year. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let's affirm that together by saying, and so it is.